like at the point in our career where, you know, for most bands, we'd be about 10 years younger. So I think maybe that's one of the reasons. I think all of us are a lot more like cemented in our identities, and we don't really care if someone thinks rock's dead or I don't care. Like we say, call me whatever you want as long as you call me.
Hi guys, you're watching NME. My name's Rishi, and today I'm joined by Courtney from Spiritbox for the latest in NME's In Conversation series. How's it going, Courtney? All right?
Oh yeah. What do you guys say? You guys say, are you all right?
All right? Yeah.
And we always get all confused. Like, why do I look like I'm? Do I look like I'm sad? What's going on? So that's what I'll say back. Are you all right?
So we're in London ahead of Ali Pali tomorrow, big show for you guys. What do you get up to when you're in London? Is it a place you've been to much over the years other than touring?
We like to often start our tour rehearsals here because then we can like get in the groove of things and then just go on like a 1 hour plane ride instead of the big, it takes us like a 10-hour flight to get here. And so we like to come here, get adjusted to the time change. And this is actually where we like to leave all of our stuff that we use for Europe. So it's like our little second rehearsal home.
Yeah, nice little second base. So tomorrow, Ali Pali, 10,000 people, sold out months in advance. How are you feeling?
I'm really excited. I'm trying to not be so stressed out. There's always just like, I think when you're in a band and you have all these, to you at least, like big moments, it's really easy to just be stressed out about it and what's gonna go wrong. So I'm trying to change my mindset into just being really excited about it, and trying to change like my anxiety about it to excitement. Because I think like deep down, that's what it really is. I'm just like so excited that my brain doesn't know what to do. So I've been dreaming about this for a long time because venues like that, you have to put them on hold a long time in advance. There's a lot of people that want to play there. So because of this, the countdown's been in my mind for a really long time. And at first I didn't really have a lot of confidence, and I was worried like about being embarrassed what if we weren't able to announce it just because we were playing Reading and Leeds. We had to wait till that was over to announce it, just like that's their radius clause. And so I was really nervous because like this isn't enough time. Other people have it on sale for a year. And my friend that's playing with us in Straight from the Path, Craig, before it went on sale, he was like, I bet your guys are gonna sell it out. And I was like, I don't think we are. I'll tell you what, if we sell it out, I'll take all of you to dinner. I'll pay for it. And he was like, that's a deal. And I'll do the same for you if you don't. So now I have to take them to dinner.
Is it happening? Have you got the plan yet? Or?
I'm just hoping that they forgot about that. And then maybe at some point on the tour, they'll remember.
Yeah.
So I'm like right now, I'm really tired because I've just been rehearsing all day. But I have that other part that I forgot about, which is like the sense of accomplishment part. And now that things are coming together, I just feel like that excitement part now.
Wicked.
Not scary in the tummy, but just a smile.
So it's been 3.5 years since Eternal Blue. Tsunami Sea is out next month, and you've had Rotoscope and The Fear of Fear in that time. Sort of bridging the gap between album 1 and 2, was that a thing you ever considered with those EPs, or did they just come out kind of naturally as they needed to?
That's the cool thing about doing EPs and like having a label that, at least in my experience, is like less concerned with like contractual obligations and more concerned with just like going where the artist leads if they feel like that's an interesting idea. So it wasn't something that we set out to do right after we put out Eternal Blue, but it just kind of happens naturally because Michael's just always writing music. And if I hear something that I really, really want to sing on and I want to keep working on it, it just feels like repression and not just put it out. And that's what's cool about EPs, because there's, you know, in general, there's a lot, the stakes are lower for everyone, for the band, for the label. Doesn't have to be this big climactic buildup of press and like music videos and all that. Like, you can it just feels a lot more spontaneous. I enjoy when bands put out EPs because it just feels like a moment in time of where that band is at right now. But yeah, both of those, you know, at the end I'm like, that would have been a good album maybe, but you know, now I still gotta do that next album. But I thought it was cool because we have so little music out. To me, it like helped bridge the gap between album 1 and album 2 without us like feeling forced to put out an album and do the whole build up, which is, you know, the second you get a song done, you just want to show everybody.
So when did it feel right to go with the album? Do you remember what kind of sparked that? Did you remember feeling why it sort of was happening at the time it did?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing was, you know, we know what our strengths and our weaknesses are and what we need to work on. And one thing that we have found that doesn't really make us happy is to try to force writing and recording while we're on tour. That's just, at this point, I really appreciate people who can do that, but we still need the experience, I think, to be able to pull both of those off at the same time. And we had a great problem to have. We got so many cool tour opportunities that those last 2 years, I felt like I was on tour for like half a year every year. So it just didn't feel right to do anything that wasn't like casual and felt like just a nice innocent thing. Michael just made a cool riff and he recorded himself, and whatever happens with that, we'll deal with that later. So we finally made the time to have all these months off. And again, I think that multitasking is great, and I really appreciate artists that can do this, but for now, I really like to focus on the one thing. And I think that's why a lot of people have the sophomore slump, is they blow up and they get all these incredible opportunities, and then they feel pressured to get, you know, that next album advance and do it while they're so busy with everything else. It's hard. So I'm really grateful. I feel like we had all the time in the world, and then, you know, classic, you know, put the pressure on yourself at the end to get it all done and commit.
Yeah, I mean, just on that pressure, like Eternal Blue was so hyped even before it came out, and sort of, like you said, Mike's always writing songs, and you just, you know, you'll like the riff, you'll go with it in the moment kind of thing. That's always happening. How easy or difficult is it to stay in that zone and just focus on the music when there's all this kind of pressure that's nothing to do with you from the outside?
I feel like that was its own thing, because, I mean, that was so surreal and weird, because not only were, you know, all of us not able to do anything we'd normally do with live music, like going and meeting fans and doing shows and stuff. It was just so strange. I'd like go clock in to work in the office, like I would just be working remotely. And then I'd have to like make time to do a call like for a cover story of a magazine. And it was just really strange. And you know, we just like to show, don't tell. I just wanted people to hear it. And we always joke, I'm like, there was like some propagandist like going around being like, that new Spiritbox thing, it's gonna be the next big thing. You know, I'm like, I didn't say that. I just want people to hear my songs. We make breakdowns and cry over them. That's all I'm selling to you. Like, that's all I can tell you that you'll get from this. It's not the second coming of whatever metalcore Jesus Christ. It's just us. So that was really scary to live up to. But then after that, that was nice too. I realized I'm like, everyone's still the same, no matter what people, they liked it or not. Like, I still have a job to do, and I got to get the music out there, and I love playing it. So I feel the same about this. I'm a lot used to this life now, and my life of just getting to focus everything on making music. And it's, to me, it's because this is something I've always wanted to do. It's a lot less complicated for me than, you know, when I'd have to juggle this with, you know, working 9 to 5 and making sure I can make my rent or, you know, buy groceries and stuff. So I like, when you've done that for a long time and more of your life you've been struggling, then than doing what makes you really happy, I think it will take a long time for me to be like jaded about that. I'm very grateful about it now.
No, awesome. So Tsunami Sea is the title of the album. Why did that sort of sum up everything that was going on in there?
This one was the same as a lot of our stuff. I like the guys are just doing demos. Like they'll just be sitting at a computer and we like rent an Airbnb or something, and Michael and our producer Dan Bronstein will just be sitting there messing around, and then I just kind of like, I come out and I do my presentation. So there's not even usually lyrics yet or anything.
Yeah.
So this was at the point when maybe half the songs were written, and I just went out and I was like, I have the album name, Tsunami Sea, and then I wait to see what they do, and they're all like, oh yeah, that's nice.
Instant approval, yeah?
Yeah, and it was the same thing with Eternal Blue and Fear of Fear. You know, it's like my thesis statement is like, it's called Tsunami Sea, and now I'm going to explain why it's called that. And so for this one, again, anyone who writes music, like their dream is that this kind of gets absorbed by the person listening instead of me having to say it. But it's about a lot of stuff. There's a lot of layers that it would take me like hours to get into. So I'm trying to figure out like my elevator pitch, like PowerPoint for it. But it's just like, you know, the visual could be literal. You know, a tsunami is just one of the worst things that could ever happen for anyone that lives near it. And it makes somebody feel very small, and you're powerless to stop it. It's faster than you and bigger than you and stronger than you. And then it washes everything away. And sometimes that's how, like, when you're at a really bad breaking point in your mental health, that's kind of like how it feels. It's like a tide pulling you in. It's almost like you have no power. You're just like a passenger on that voyage wherever it's gonna go. So there's all those parallels of just like what it might, someone who's uncomfortable explaining why they're sad, at least it's like a metaphor that I can express myself in, like that's what it can feel like. A lot of it's about where Michael and I are from, which is Vancouver Island in Canada. And you know, it's not like it's a small place, but it's just literally remote because we can only get off it on a boat or a plane. And it's such a strange thing where you would do anything to leave this place because you feel like it's holding you back from what, you know, your dreams, and you feel like nobody understands you, why you're in your early 30s, like trying to make $100 a night on a tour somewhere, because that is crazy. And then when you leave, it's weird because like I long to go back to it. And it's kind of like that with like depression. It's like you can really romanticize your depression in an unhealthy way, and you almost like long to go back to that like mania you can feel right before your brain just like all the serotonin just leaves your brain and the dopamine, and you just back on the floor. So again, I really hope listening to it, if you listen to it from front to back, you can probably feel, I want people to feel what I'm saying, even if they don't know about the island, but a lot of it's about our island. It's a very special place that again, it's weird. I miss it, and it repels me away. It's because I want to get out of there and like live my dreams, essentially.
Both of those kind of layers you just spoke about, I think a lyric that really, for me, I thought might tie into that is kind of Ride the Wave, like a message in a bottle. Would you say that as well about that song? That's
the first song that we recorded, and I would like, a lot of our songs are sad, but that one, like, I was like, oh man, I haven't sang a song this sad in a while, and I'm not in a great mental spot, and I always wonder like what it would be like for when someone's recording something and they're sad, because you're kind of like, when you're recording, you're like feeling real feelings, but you're also, it's like you're acting like in a musical, like you have to convey the emotions. And so I'm glad I did that one first because it made me really sad. And then I also loved it because it was the first time that like me and Josh like really got to sing together and really have our voices being like more level together instead of him just supporting me. And I was like, wow, this is gonna be awesome. This is gonna sound so cool, all of us like together like this.
Yeah.
So I think the lyrics of that one, you know, that's why that one's towards the end of the album. It really, it feels like someone being pulled and pushed and pulled and pushed. And it's also a little bit spooky. We'd say our band's a little spooky and scary.
Spooky is exactly the word I was just going to say, as this come in its moments during the album. I thought the No Loss, No Love video, you know, instantly made me feel that, like the waves crashing around everywhere, like it's black and white. I noticed you turned everything on your socials black and white before you were teasing the album. Visually, what were you trying to, I guess, what story were you trying to tell there?
Well, I'm so happy you like that video because I'm extra proud of it because we got to do it with Max Moore, who's an incredible director, and then he's so cool and collaborative. Michael's always wanted to go back to directing our music videos because he used to yeah. Any music video you see that there isn't a credit on it, he did it. I think I always was like, why did we not say that? And he would just, I think we like felt like we would look more legit, and the reality was like, you know, Michael's dad like driving down a road and him filming me like with an iPhone on the back of the car. Like, so I think we wanted to like not show people that we were just like didn't have a real band yet, and we don't have any backing or anything. I don't know. But that was really cool. I really want him to get back into doing that. And the black and white thing, that's how we started. So it felt cool for us because it's like Eternal Blue is so colorful.
Yeah.
This is, you know, still, it's like this big vast ocean, but it's like when you're in the depression part of being in that ocean, not the beautiful blossoming like acid trip color part. And it's kind of like that same feeling that we feel when we go back to our island. That's where everything started, and we made all of our content in black and white because we were doing it all ourselves and we don't know how to color grade, so it's way easier to just slap a black and white. You can go on, you know, we go on YouTube and do a 5-minute tutorial how to do on iMovie like in black and white. And same with our photos, throw a black and white filter on them. So that's why we chose that, because that's kind of like the mission statement at the beginning of this album, is that all that ever was will ever be. It's like you just can't help but go back to where you started, whether you like it or not.
Nice. The last song I wanted to ask about specifically is Crystal Roses. Really loved it on a first listen. It was nothing like I've ever heard from your band before. What kind of prompted the sounds that we hear on there, whether it's like the kind of, I thought it was a bit liquid drum and bassy bit at the start, or just the way your voice is produced throughout the song?
I remember Michael was just playing this thing and it sounded very like sad, like in like Depeche Mode and like Tears for Fears sounding guitar, bum, 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 bum.
Yeah.
And just had that like weird eerie music that I love about like that kind of new wavy stuff. And you know, we like UK house sound and stuff, and we like garage and stuff. Like just drum loops, they just have always fascinated us. Any like sampling or drum loops, and that just felt good over that. And then that's something that is my propaganda, is like I'm always in the back being like, it'd be really cool to do a song inspired by Sophie, because I'm a huge fan of Sophie, and I love like the Formant thing. I love, even back in the day, like bands like The Knife, like she would always be singing and then they would have her, like her voice drop down an octave or up an octave. And Kendrick Lamar actually does that a lot, like with his like vocal stacks. They'll be like, they'll go around. But I was really obsessed with obviously a Beyonce song from a couple years ago called All Up in Your Mind on Renaissance. And I didn't know what they were doing, because I've never heard anyone's voice like pitch shift while they're singing down to other notes and then circle back. And so that goes through the song and she starts sounding like more high pitched and then low. and just reminded me of something that like Sophie would do. So finally I was like, this is my time. And so I was like, I want to go in there and I'm not going to do a bunch of takes. I'm going to do the vocal, and then I'm going to do a couple like ad-libs, and then let's, like, while I'm tracking it, like slap the auto-tune so hard, and then like use the Foreman thing and twist my vocals as I'm going. So that way, you know, like how Dan was feeling it should be. And I thought that was so fun. I was like, this is what it's like to be like spontaneous and like be like partying in the studio and having fun. Because normally I'm just like, I gotta get through this next song. So I love that. And we wanted to make a song that I could like dance to. Sometimes I want to dance.
And it's very danceable, absolutely. Awesome. So you're coming back to the UK this summer for Download and the Linkin Park date, which is very, very exciting. I just want to bring up something that Andy Copping, the Download boss, said to us a couple of months ago. He said, "No question, I see Spiritbox as a headliner in the future." Those were his exact words. I just wondered
Thank you, Andy.
how that is to hear from the man who runs the festival himself.
All I can do is all I can do is just be the best that I can, so when that opportunity comes, there's no excuse like, oh, we don't have a crew yet and we don't have someone helping us with the creative direction. Like, we have to get all of those people that we care about on our team ready for go time. So for me, that would be like the Super Bowl, you know? So like, we're trying to do this year. We're like, don't get ready, like stay ready. But the cool thing about that is all these opportunities we have this year to, you know, be like direct support or at a stadium and stuff like that. Yeah. It's all gonna be stuff that I'm gonna pick something from each band and learn. And I think that like I said, I've been saying this to everyone, I'm trying to be less self-deprecating this year. I'm very uncomfortable with all this. I feel like someone's pulling a prank on me, and I'm gonna walk out there tomorrow at Ali Pali, and you guys are all gonna be like, ha, psych, you dummy, you thought we were all coming here? We're just here for the pizza. And then I'm gonna, like, you know, the cane's gonna like pull me off stage, and I'm gonna have to go home and go to bed. So like, I'm trying to be like, no, you're here talking to me because something cool is going on, and you're giving me your time, so I can't just sit here being like, oh, I'm a piece of shit, it's fine. Someone saying like that, it's like a challenge to me.
Yeah.
I want to meet.
Bring it on.
Yeah, I want to meet, like, I'm ready to meet that challenge. So I like it. It like, as we would say, it lights a fire under our ass. We have a lot to learn, but I think that we can learn it, and I think we could put on an awesome, like, the show of our dreams. I really do see it.
I mean, you've been at Download once before, I recall, 2022, Overflowing Tent, as it was. One of the bands that headlined that year was Kiss. And Gene Simmons has been quite outspoken, even as recently as last month, going, you know, rock's dead, there's nothing exciting at the minute, blah, 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 etc., etc. I just think in the last few years, especially, rock and metal had such an explosion of acts pushing it into places that it's never gone before. You guys, Bad Omen, Sleep Token is more obvious examples, I'd say, for example. I just wondered, what do you feel beyond yourself, within your band and within your peers, is kind of the appetite for pushing heavy music into places it's never been before?
Maybe something that we all have in common is that when we've all gotten to the next level, we weren't little snot-nosed 18-year-old kids like being like, oh, sick, free beer, and let's crash hotel rooms. I think that we all like just toiled and put every dollar as grown-ups into our dreams and never gave up, and now we all finally have like the second chance to do this how we want. And then now however all of us had it happen, whether slowly or really fast, we're all like at the point in our career where, you know, for most bands, we'd be about 10 years younger. So I think I think maybe that's one of the reasons. I think all of us are a lot more like cemented in our identities, and we don't really care if someone thinks rock's dead, or I don't care. Like we say, call me whatever you want as long as you call me. I don't care what genre it is. We all feel it. It's heavy music, and we all love rock music. So I think that the next generation, maybe any of us will get to the point where there's any nostalgia about us. But I certainly think that we can get to the point where maybe the next generation's influenced by us, and then they're the big acts. But I see it happening. I think it's because all of us are more confident in who we are than if we had all gotten a little bit bigger 10 years ago when we were dumb kids. Like, think about, I don't know how old you are, but when I was like 18, 19, I was stupid, and I sounded horrible, and I made horrible music. So like, I think we all probably feel similar to that, and now we're grown. So maybe that's like one of the reasons we're all like coming together. And that might sound boring to some people. We all probably like have tea in our bed and go to bed and rest our voices rather than like
coffee.
My decaf coffee. But I think it's because we almost thought we were all gonna like lose out on this once, and now that we all have it, like, we're never letting go of this. We're gonna work our hardest.
I have to quickly touch on the Grammys last week. Did you expect the Poppy thing to become as crazy
funny.
as it did?
I feel bad because in our world, everyone's like, oh, how dare that lady not know who you are? I was like, do you guys know where we are? No one here knows who we are. They're holding a card, and they just interviewed like Sabrina Carpenter, and then they're like, and these people, and they're just being, our publicist is getting hooked up by these people. They don't know who we are. So I'm sure all that happened is, well, actually I don't know, because I heard them be like, Spiritbox now. And I was just worried because it was actually like a global outlet thing. There was like 100 people on a Zoom call all getting to ask me stuff. And I was like, what if no one asks me anything? And then I just go, okay, bye. It was really great, bye. And then the lady's like, oh, wait, we're here with rock royalty. And I was about to be like, that's silly, I'm not, Poppy. And I was like, and I was just like, that's really funny, actually. Let's just roll with this. And I know I am so passionate about Knocked Loose and Poppy's success that I am very well versed in everything every incredible thing they accomplished last year. So I think I was like, I feel like I could answer every single question that they asked me. And so I did. And then the guys were like, how was it? I was like, I did the interview with Poppy, and they went along with it. And so I was like, I think this is going to be a very funny thing, and that will be infamous. I thought that was funny. And then of course, we all of us would have liked to have won, but we all were rooting for Gojira, and we were standing in line with all of them, and they're so humble and nice. Like, whenever I do an impression of them, I go like this, and they're like, no, you're going to win. What, fuck us, we're not going to win. And we were just like, guys, you opened the Olympic ceremony on a castle with blood raining down. Yeah, you're winning this Grammy. And you know what? I think that they are so humble. Like, they sat so far in the back. We were like, go down there. And they were like, no, we want to sit with our family. I was like, all right, well, you're going to maybe miss your speech. And sure enough, they won. And they had to like sprint down. And they almost missed it. They took the Grammy away. And they were like, no. And I thought it was really cool because they used that time to be like, you need to support smaller bands and support your local bands, and you need to do that, or like bands like us aren't gonna be up here. So I thought that was really cool. Yeah. But I never thought that the Poppy interview would be the thing that I would walk away from. It's crazy. But we both think it's really funny.
Collab's got to be coming at some point. The Soft Spine video is just a teaser, surely. No?
I have to. I always, that's like my joke with all these awesome people I've met. I'm like, I gotta figure out a way to pay you to hang out with me. So maybe we have to go on tour together. Maybe I have to get you to do some songs with me, but like, you're hanging out with me, whether it's a contractual obligation or not, because I think she's really cool.
Yeah, she is. Final one. really quickly. I know you did a J with Jordan Fish in the studio last year, and so much was made of it, all this speculation, a Spiritbox working with Jordan Fish, nothing. And Jordan told us that you guys did a day, I think it was last January. What was that day like? What were the first 5 to 10 minutes of that like? 2 meetings of such creative minds? Because I know you might have met before, but working together for that short space.
Yeah.
How does that introductory bit go?
We've only ever had one person ever produce our stuff, so when we've just had like little, I call them like play dates with other people, like I'm just so fascinated on how they work, and I can see like them and being kind of fascinated by how like Michael does stuff, because everybody does stuff a little bit different. And so I had a really fun time. Jordan has like a lot of he just has like a really unique way of making music, because I feel like he's really confident and he doesn't second guess his first instinct, which is really nice. Michael and we could spend an hour thinking about like the tempo of something. And working with someone like him, he just moves along quickly. He's got other stuff to do, and he trusts himself. He knows that's good. There's no reason to just sit there and go, does it sound like this? Does it sound like that? Do I need to change it? He's like, I made a cool thing. Let's move on. But that we made fun of Michael for a really long time about that, because all Michael did was just like post a picture being like in the studio with Jordan, just to be like, what I'm doing today. And the next day he was like, why did I do that? Why is everyone freaking out? And I was like, Michael, Jordan's famous. Don't do that. He's famous. People care what he does. And so we just make fun of him about it. We're like, you have to learn how to deal with your famous friends. You can't just willy-nilly go off saying what they're doing. But I think that there's always going to be some way that we work with Jordan, because I think that both of us really like collabs. And so, he might be coming up with a collab with this artist, and maybe he'd like Michael and I to help him. Maybe it's not our song, but like we help him with another artist. So he's really cool. I just like hanging out with him, and I like watching how he works.
Wicked, yeah. You got to take Michael's Instagram off him
next
time, yeah.
We were
just ban him from it.
I just remember Michael just like sending him like articles, and he's like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And Jordan was just like,
It's all right.
I'm just here to click on the computer.
Courtney, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. Tsunami Sea, Spiritbox, out March the 7th. And all the best. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. I'm going to need the luck. I hope you guys like it.